The Christian cross was a symbol of authority in every residential school in Canada, and it has also been a symbol for the road to recovery. To help us understand what the teachings of Jesus say into the process of truth and reconciliation, we're joined again by Reverend David MacDonald, an ordained United Church of Canada minister, a former member of Parliament. He helped launch the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada. We're joined by Elder Barney Williams and Elder Shirley Williams, both of whom are survivors of residential schools. Shirley, let's start with you. Personally, what do the teachings of Jesus mean to you when you look at this massive wrongdoing?
The teachings of Jesus, well, from the residential school, I learned that Jesus is, died for our sins, and it's a sin that the cross of a symbol. And so Jesus died for us in order to forgive our sins. And so therefore, in order to remove that sin, these are teachings from residential school, so that when Jesus died, and then when he come into the world, you're baptized so that sin can be removed. You become, and that sin that's removed from your soul. So in the residential school, the cross was always brought. In every room there was a cross, and so they would say to us, especially when they talked about the Midland massacre of the missionaries, and they would point to us and say, they have committed sin. Our people may commit sin, and that we are sinners. And I don't know why they always said that we were sinners, because we didn't commit any sins. I mean, in the school there was no place for temptations and things like that. And so that cross was a symbol. Every time we looked at it, you had to remember that Jesus died for his sins, and that we were carrying, us Native people, we were carrying the cross. And one day, I was at home in Okamakang. I looked up, there was a graveyard out there, and there was a cross up there, and I looked, and I was wondering why I wasn't feeling very well, or, as with self-esteem. I looked at it and I thought, hey, I'm so tired of carrying this cross. It's getting too heavy, and I need to get rid of it. And so I found ways and means how to get rid of those sins, the sins being Anishinaabe.
So you left the Christian cross. You left it behind.
I left it behind because I lived in a very bad relationship and all of these things, and tried to find this new cross, this. And so when I look at because it has such a powerful symbol, this cross. And so when I look at the world today, I look at, because Anishinaabe carried the cross for so long, it's now time for them to carry the cross of what they did to us.
All right. Barney Williams, your understanding of the Christian cross, the teachings of Jesus.
Well, it's like Shirley said, I think that when we were in school, the teaching was they were so strong in embedding in us to be Christians, right? And not really understanding what that meant. Like, again, going back to what she's saying, that we were sinners, right? That we had been like that all the time, and then why were we sinners? What made us those so different than other people?
Have you discovered any other meaning of the Christian cross? Both of you have now said it drilled into you, that you were wrong.
I believe I've found in my own way my peace, if you may, with Jesus or the Creator or God, or how people want to call him or her, right? It's
David, this is our territory. We represent the church here. Mm-hmm. You, the United Church, myself as an evangelical. We cherish the cross. What have you got to bring on the teachings of Jesus into this incredible brokenness that was represented under the cross?
Well, I think, the first thing we needed to do was to apologize, to recognize that we had abused and misused our role as Christians in using the cross and the teachings and the taking away of little children. All of that was, for most of us to realize that is pretty tough stuff. It's pretty tough stuff. And we have to be open to hear and all the pain that's taken place, but open also. The incredible generosity, as you've seen today in both Shirley and Barney, that they would regard some of us as friends and colleagues and working together to
Try to fix this.
Work in this reconciliation.
I do want to close with a comment from the audience where the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission has been continuing to listen. And Justice Sinclair, I just know you cannot continue in the reconciliation work without the teachings of Jesus being acknowledged as having been abused and misused. What do you hope can go forward on the role of the Christian church in this reconciliation process?
I remember being at a ceremony gathering with elders one time, and an elder, in talking about this very question, said, if Jesus were here with us, he would be sitting on the ground with us talking about the things that we are talking about, and he would not be trying to put out our fire. And I think what that speaks to me about is that the essential element of Jesus, as I understand it from my past, I'm no longer a Christian. I practice my own way in accordance with Anishinaabe teachings. But as I understood it as I was growing up, the essential teaching of Jesus was one of kindness. And that is that you will always be remembered by how you treat others. And so I think that what we need to understand is that the one thing that was missing from residential schools was kindness. It was unkind to think that children could in fact benefit from being taken away from their loving families. It was unkind to think that there was any rightness about taking away their sense of identity. And it was unkind to think that in sending them back to that broken environment that nothing more needed to be done with them. And so that being said, now we need to move forward and think about the respect that needs to be put into place, but also about the importance of giving back self-respect to those children who have come from that environment and their grandchildren who are with us today who are still struggling for their sense of self.
All right. Chief Justice Sinclair, thank you very much. And Barney, Shirley, Reverend McDonald, thank you. When we return, my final thoughts on truth and reconciliation.